Next item is the ECRA agreement.
Okay, so this is a first read. There were some questions submitted by Mr. Walsh. We're going to table this for board consideration for July when Kristen is back in town and also has time to go through it with our consultant. Just a couple quick points. Number one is this is a professional service, which means it does not need to go out to bid under school code. This is more or less like a consulting service. What they're going to do is help us analyze our data and begin to track our student growth from freshman year through senior year. It's going to be used to help track student growth in relation to the board's goals, as well as, remember, in 2016 under para, teacher evaluations will also be based on student growth. And where ECRA is one of the only services that right now is providing this, they're kind of leading the charge of trying to analyze and sit down with school districts and actually come up with some substance that can be used based on student growth and be, I want to say, be stand up in regards to teacher evaluations and in the event that we had to go to remediation or be contested. And from our school district's perspective, this is almost like hiring an additional person but not having a full-time administrator or the benefits associated with that, in that they're going to help us store our data and analyze our data. The second phase of this would be to try to get the feeder schools involved with a similar program so we can be tracking student growth from the feeder schools all the way through graduation in the high school. There were some particular questions that need to be addressed, and some services need to be spelled out, and I sent that off to ECRA, and Kristen and the ECRA consultant will work on it, and I'll get us a new draft of that for the July meeting, but I wanted to get this in front of the board so you understand the intent.
Yeah.
I want to push back. Go on, Laura, you can go first.
Was this Kristen's, did Kristen bring this up?
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent suggestion, as she's our new, or our interim principal. This is something we've been asking for as a board, so it's a
So, and I've asked this in other contexts, Kevin, but, so you're saying the first exception, contracts for the service of individuals possessing a high degree of professional skill or the abilities or fitness of the individual plays an important part as the exception?
Correct.
They're providing a service. I don't see how that applies to this.
Okay.
So I still think it doesn't meet the exception of requirement why we wouldn't have to set it out for bids.
Do we want to ask Todd?
I'll ask Todd again.
And the second thing is, assuming that there was even an exception, it grants you the exception, so you, doesn't mean you have to do it. I would like to know who else we considered for this. I can't imagine they're the only vendor in the world that can provide this service.
We did not meet with anybody else.
Okay. So, I mean, I brought it up before with you. I'm a strong proponent of seeing who's out there, who's available, because then you
Sure.
see who, maybe somebody else is a better, widget, and also they might provide it at a more economical price to us.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll be brought up in July with answers and talk about the two issues that you brought